Hello, I'm Richard English. I'm Professor of Politics at the University of St Andrews and Director at the University there of the Handa Centre for the Study of Terrorism and Political Violence. I'm delighted to get the chance to engage with you on this excellent module and I'm very happy in the wake of the module if any of you want to pick up on any of the things which I've been saying or any of the issues which I've been raising in what I say in this brief talk, for you to contact me directly at the University of St Andrews, and I'll very happily try to do what I can to encourage debate and to respond to any questions or points that you have. What I'm going to do in the talk is very briefly say something about my own take on this subject and how I've approached it and how I've got interested in it in the way that I have. And then to try and go through a series of issues regarding how I think we might respond best to the threat and actuality of terrorism, particularly focusing on issues relating to grievances, the grievances that people have which sometimes encourage them to engage in or support terrorist violence, and how we, whether as law enforcement people, NGOs, governments, citizens or whatever, can best respond. Despite my accent and my surname, I was actually born in Belfast, which is where this is being filmed, and for a very long time worked at Queen's University Belfast and spent a long time studying terrorism and political violence as it has related to Ireland and particularly Northern Ireland during history and politics. Paradoxically, in the early years of the 21st century, as Northern Irish terrorism decreased dramatically with the peace process, international interest in terrorism increased extraordinarily in the wake of the atrocities of 9/11 and other ensuing violent attacks, including 7/7 in the UK or the Madrid attacks and so on. So there's been a paradoxical way in which the less and less violent culture of terrorism in Northern Ireland has been counteracted by the greater interest that people have in other kinds of international terrorism. And so while my work initially focused particularly on Irish instances of terrorist grievances and responses to terrorism and its dynamics, in recent years what I've tried to do, and particularly at the work at St Andrews University, what I've tried to do is to broaden out consideration of thinking about terrorism and counter-terrorism, to ask, are there ways in which, if we look at the long history and experience of terrorism, we can get some sort of patterns which, for all of the differences between local contexts, might be relevant across different countries, across different settings, as we think about this enduring threat.